Next up, Flash.
I can't maintain this!
Trying to dissect how to do Flash was, I think, one of our more interesting problems on the movie. We had a couple of rules for all this kind of fast travel. One main rule with Flash was we don't ever want to see him run like this. We don't ever want to see that. So that's why, almost like $6 Million Man, the faster he runs, it's almost like the slower he gets. You see him rev up in slow motion with the slow motion lightning, and then boom, he's gone. If you see him in real time, you can't even see him run. You know, he's just gone.
They really just vanish. Huh? Oh, that's rude.
And then when you start running with him, he may look fairly normal, but it's generally 48 frames a second, but the exterior is whipping by, right? We always pretended like we're trying to photograph him, but we can never pick the right frame rate to really get him. So he always starts to really almost fly. In the Junction rescue scene where Barry Allen is rescuing Iris, from this car accident, we came up with a couple of rules. One was, if everything else in the world, when you're in flash time with him, looks like it's at 600 frames per second or more, Barry Allen's able to move at a different frame rate, but not quite 24 frames per second normal. We usually shot him at 48 frames per second just to give him a little float. But we knew we have to get into a green screen stage and start doing everything from there. We're like, okay, we need to make that environment in CG. We need to make the crash in CG. And Kiersey's going to have to be on some kind of rig to float her that's pretty controllable. And she's going to have to act frozen. If she moves, we're going to have to stabilize her in post. And so if you look at the footage, it's pretty interesting because first she's in her costume on a Kuka arm motion control rig being floated up while Ezra looks up at her. You pull their hair back and then you make CG hair that can dovetail into their real hairline and make it float the way you need it to float. And as Ezra looked like he was just about to touch her, she would start to roll, and he would just kind of pretend to guide her down without touching her too much. This is another rule with the Flash. You can't grab someone and save them until she's on the ground. And her clothes kind of get flowy and her hair gets flowy. And then when she's down on the ground, then we kind of go into real time. The time travel was always a part of the end of the movie. Everyone in the Justice League has a particular thing they have to do in the fight at the end. Flash's main job is to build up a charge and give it to Cyborg to be able to do what he needs to do.
I can conduct a significant electrical current. I might be able to wake the box.
But weird things happen as I get close to the speed of light. The time travel thing is fun because Zack was very clear. He wanted the mother boxes to merge. The effect would essentially erase the planet, just erase everything. And he wanted it to be a void, like just a void with a quasar at the origin. And it would become very beautifully cosmic. And the origin of that would come with each of Flash's footsteps. He said, I want like a big bang to come out of each footstep. And that starts to repopulate the void, which when you look behind him, you realize he's actually like a tidal wave pulling. And you have to remember how much time he's actually pulling. 6 seconds of time back is what he's doing. It's not much, but it's huge. It's like the hugest thing ever.